Let's get started. So welcome to the 2022 Minority Health Conference here at UIC. It is our 13th annual Congress and is developed based on the Minority Health Conference held by UNC. Traditionally, the conference is held in person, but due to the pandemic, this is our second year holding it over Zoom. As I say that, we appreciate your patience with us as we navigate this conference in the virtual environment. Every year, we adapt the theme that's developed by UNC. This year, that theme was revolutionary healing and rebuilding. We also wanted to focus our conference on a subtopic that was more relevant to our community. We realized the pandemic has really changed our perception of community and social structure. So our discussions today will focus on collective trauma and the effect of changing community structures on health equity. Now, before we proceed, I want to go over a few housekeeping points. I know virtual conferences are a little bit different than in person, so we request that you please adhere to these guidelines for a smooth conference. The topics that we're discussing today could be considered sensitive, so please listen with an open mind. We are keeping the chat open to have an engaging conversation, so feel free to utilize that, but keep your mic on mute throughout the conference. If there is background noise coming from your mic, one of our co-hosts will go ahead and mute you to keep the audio channels clear. Also remember to have mutual respect for one another and the information that is shared today. While we don't anticipate this, any disruptive or disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. I also want to acknowledge that the University of Illinois Chicago stands on the original homelands of the Miami three fire peoples, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Bodawami, who have been stewards of this land for generations. Illinois is also home to a diverse Native community of more than 75,000 tribal members, many of whom live in the Chicago area. Lastly, before we dive in, I want to take a well-deserved moment to recognize and thank the 2022 Planning Committee. We are a student-led conference, so this is all the students that volunteered from the School of Public Health to put together everything that you see today. The conference would not happen without them, so if you do get a moment with them, be sure to thank them for their hard work. This is the agenda for today. We will start with a panel discussion. Then we will hear some brief remarks from our Dean of the School of Public Health and our Associate Dean of Diversity and Inclusion. We'll then move on to abstract presentations and conclude with our keynote speaker, Ronnie Morrison, who's the Chief Diversity and Community Health Equity Officer at UI Health. For the sake of time, let's dive right into our panel discussion.